My name is Milovanovic, and I'm a Senior Director of Data and Machine Learning Platform at Booking.com. Booking, as everybody knows, is the biggest online travel site, and our mission is to allow people to explore the world, or make it easier for people to explore the world. And my role at Booking is on the data and ML tooling. So one side of my organization deals with transactional data. So every piece of like transactional data that goes through Booking is stored in the systems that my team manages. And then on the other side, it's all the tooling that we have for data analytics, machine learning, data warehousing, building out data lakes, like how we store all that data. Data is, just like many other companies, at the root of most everything that we do, especially when we build travel products for our customers. So we really try to understand customer behavior on our apps and our websites, and then also really understand who the customer is, what their preferences are, what kind of bookings they like, what they like to do, where they like to go. And then be able to use that data to, at the end, really create products that are much more customer-centric and fits to a particular customer, and eventually have business outcomes that are better for the overall company and our customer population. Booking, being the biggest online travel company, has a lot of data. Over the years, we have collected preference data, just understanding the customers, how they interact with our website and our apps and so on. So we look at data as kind of a foundational piece to producing better products for our customers. Most of our data has been stored on-prem, so we have a big data warehouse and data lake that we process data, and then we use it for analytics and ML. But we have really, in the last few years, we have determined that on-prem data existence isn't a path forward, and we have embarked on really big project to get our on-prem data and all the tooling that goes with it that our reporting analysts and machine learning engineers use to push that into the public clouds. And AWS has been a great partner for that. So we are embarking on creating a data lakes and data warehousing and all the tooling and services for analytics and ML in AWS. Everybody at Booking is an advocate for data modernization. I think everybody understands that needs to happen. So even if you talk to people in the trenches, so data analysts, machine learning engineers, they're really eager to explore this new technology in the public cloud and cloud native services. I think that when I first started at Booking, I spent a lot of time talking to different stakeholders and also people on the ground to understand what the problems are, how can we solve those problems, what are the friction points, and sort of what they think the future should look like. So just from that tech perspective, people are really excited about the public cloud. And then on the business and product side, they're really frustrated and they want to move faster. And a lot of the time, the answer that they get is, well, it's going to take 2 weeks or 3 months or so on. And those timelines really come back because the technology, like we spend a lot of time like having to employ our own technology versus having to leverage something like the public cloud. So from all different angles, people are advocating for data modernization. Let's move faster. Let's not spend a lot of time building infrastructure of our own, so that we can just concentrate on improving business outcomes. I think it's really important to, again, give your group a vision of what the end state of the project that we are trying to spin up is going to be. And then from there, it's important to talk to all the different stakeholders and then build a team that really understands that vision, and then build a structure within that team that can produce the outcomes that we ultimately want. Marketing is a good example. They've been in the cloud, obviously, because of our performance marketing and Google Ads and so on, and they use a lot of tooling there to then optimize that, and that has been a really key driver of our business. But we have a lot of initiatives. Our CEO, Glenn Fogel, has talked about Connected Trip, and Connected Trip is one of those product ideas that really cuts across many different business units. So from accommodations to trips to attractions and so on. And in order to connect these different data sets that are spread across these different business units, you need to have a unified platform where they're stored and cataloged properly, where you can provision credentials for access control, and then have tooling that helps you process all of this data. And that really has been the key advantage of going into public cloud, for example, because there's just a lot of tooling there already that we can use, and then all the integrations that with our existing services is much easier for us to do. It's not a smooth, it's not a like linear line, but there's like obviously problems that we have to solve. But it's an integration that's fairly. Booking is a very tech-oriented culture, and a lot of the products and services that we have built at Booking have been built from the ground up. So there's a real ownership and pride in what we have built over the years, and a lot of the services have been built prior to public cloud being a mainstay of technology. So some of the cultural part of our culture is like that pride, and so that in some respects pushed people away from the cloud, and really their mindset was building services on-prem. We have largely gone beyond that. A lot of people recognize the need and also the benefits of not spending a lot of time provisioning infrastructure and really concentrating on really solving hard problems. And then compliance is a huge issue, especially when it comes to data. I just read somewhere actually that a lot of governments are thinking of data as almost like a raw material, like coal or oil. It's something that really belongs to them and like their citizenship. So there's a lot of regulation around really having to locate data to specific countries, and cloud has been really helpful in that. So it's much easier to obviously just copy data into a region where public cloud is available versus us having to build a data center. And then privacy controls and GDPR, CCPA, DSA, DMA, there are all these different controls that on surface really make a lot of sense, and I'm glad they're there. But purely from a technology point of view, they're really, really tough to implement. There's a lot of engineering that goes into actually getting them done. So lots of different things to think about from different angles. It's sometimes really frustrating, and sometimes it's really pushes us to be better technologists to get these problems solved. I look myself and part of my role to really being able to come up with a vision for the team, and then being able to articulate that vision that's clear and people can really get behind. So if I take data transformation and what we are trying to do in the cloud and build the data warehouse and build a data lake and really explain why those things are important as foundational pieces to other things that are going to follow after that. And then, so that's, you gotta really sort of understand ultimately where you want to end up. I think the other thing is you shouldn't rush. You really need to understand that this is a multi-year process. So a lot of people think that you're going to spend 6 months and then we're going to have something that we can onboard on. Takes planning and hiring people and getting the groups organized, getting the vision circulated around. And then the other big thing is to really work with the stakeholders. I mean, we're not building a service just for the sake of building. It's got to actually contribute to product and business. And getting the stakeholders on board is a really huge deal. I spent the first 6 months when I started at Booking, I spent a lot of time just talking to data analysts, ML engineers, product people from both of those groups, really trying to understand like what they want to do, what their pain points are, what can we do to help them. And then once you know those data points, then you can really come up with a formula of what sort of works, and with that vision that I was talking about earlier, and then being able to articulate that vision's got to be rooted in a lot of research, and because then it's got to make sense for the rest of the company. In my mind, it's still to be determined how impactful it's going to be on travel business and other businesses. I was just talking to one of our ML leads, and he was saying that he has gotten more than 40 different product ideas of how we can use Gen AI at booking. We've already launched the trip planner, and it's a much better experience, obviously, to be able to talk to a chatbot and be able to say, sort of, I want to go here and there, and you get feedback versus typing. So that's an obvious one. There's different kinds of things that we can do. Like one of the things that we're talking about is translation, for example. I mean, booking obviously as an online travel company has many different destinations across the world. So we get reviews that are written in many different languages, kind of like unifying that into and like make it a custom for each person that comes to our website is really important. For example, like something like summarizing reviews. So if you go to a hotel review and there's 1,000 reviews for a very popular hotel, you don't want to have to read through all of that. It would be nice to just get a summary and say, okay, here's sort of the highlights from all the different reviews. So there's different product ideas. I think it's absolutely an exciting technology, and I think for travel in general, it could really help us completely change the experience of how people interact with our apps and our websites. AI is going to have a big role to play when it comes to how customers interact with Booking.com, and that in conjunction with the kind of data that we collect on customers, so we understand the preferences of our customers, so whether they are beachgoers or skiers or like whatever else. And also understanding their interactions with our website, like what they like, what they don't like, what's the flow, like how to really get them to book a flight or book a hotel. And I think Gen AI is really exciting technology from just the point of view where you can interact with our site in a much more natural way versus having to type your destination and put your dates in and how many travelers and so on. So it's a much sort of easier and flows a lot better than what it is today. And again, the other really exciting part is the discovery of it. Can it help us get to destinations that we ordinarily would not think about? And I think us as travelers and people that like to travel want to explore the world, and if we can send them to places where they ordinarily wouldn't go, and they go there and find it exciting and exhilarating, they would always come back to Booking because they will remember us as the place that found them some destination that they wouldn't have gone to. AWS is a key player for us because it removes a lot of the time that we would have to spend to provision infrastructure, to build some of these basic services in order to get us to a point where we can start building products on top of those services. So provisioning storage, provisioning compute, getting things like scanning for privacy, like on our data and stuff like that. If you can get that out of the box and that just works, then we can really concentrate all of our engineering and product resources to start building products that are going to be much more customer impactful. So it's just that proposition of being able to have an idea, to do a proof of concept of that idea, and then being able to push that idea into production much faster and be able to iterate on that, to learn from data how customers are interacting with this new product, and then improve it over time. I think that's what we are really trying to leverage AWS for. As a great partner, we've been able to work with you guys and give you requirements of some of the features or that are missing or things that we have seen that are not working for us. And you guys have really responded well. There's been a lot of touch points on many different levels, from lower level, like on the tech side or even on the executive side. And so it would be really hard to imagine going through this big transformation without having a partner that we can have an open conversation, get requirements, get feedback, and then get that fixed for us. So it's been a journey, but it has been a really good one.